Hey there, and welcome back to Utility Sports. We have a fun one today. If you do enjoy our NFL draft content, please subscribe and like this video. Your support means a lot to us. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the top player at each position in college football pertaining to who's going to be in the NFL draft. So it's just going to be the players that will likely declare for the NFL draft. So starting off at quarterback, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence, the 6'6" quarterback prodigy. We've been waiting for many, many years, even since he was in high school. People knew that this guy was going to be special. Obviously, he has the frame, he has the arm talent, he has the mobility, he has everything that you crave as an NFL franchise. He's going to give you a chance no matter what team you are. Even if you're the New York Jets, you are going to have a chance with Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback. And I think he's as surefire as it really comes for prospects in general. So he is my top quarterback. Justin Fields had gained some traction, but I just don't think it's particularly close between these two anymore. Trevor Lawrence is a stud. Obviously, Justin Fields is a nice quarterback, but I just don't think he'll be what Trevor Lawrence's ceiling will be. So after that, now we are going to take a look at the halfback position. And my number one running back is Travis Etienne. He's an elusive running back. He's 5'10", 205 pounds. He's elusive. He breaks tackles. Obviously, you could see the stat that he broke 23 tackles on 83 carries. This guy knows how to shed tacklers, and he's super elusive. And I also see some value in the pass game from him. So it's pretty impressive what Clemson did from a recruiting standpoint. Obviously, they landed Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. Very, very dynamic duo. It's very possible that they actually end up on the same team, the New York Jets. It depends on what they want to do with their second first-round pick, or if he falls to their second-round pick. I think Etienne definitely could be an option. A lot of people obviously like Hubbard going into the season, but Etienne has proved that he is the number one running back in this class. So taking a look at the next position, we have wide receiver. And to me, there's not a lot of debate on the number one wide receiver. We saw him last year with Joe Burrow and that offense. And to be quite honest with you, JaMarr Chase was a better receiver last year than Justin Jefferson was. And we saw how talented Justin Jefferson is as a player. So for JaMarr Chase to be as the top wideout, I think it's the consensus, and it probably should be the consensus. I think Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith are special players. Rashad Bateman also gets consideration, but Devontae Smith has been phenomenal at the University of Alabama. Had a huge game against LSU, and I really like his game. But just looking at it holistically, Chase is a good route runner. He can catch balls in traffic. He knows how to run the route tree to its entirety. And I really like JaMarr Chase going into the NFL draft, and I think he is the top wide receiver and should be a consensus amongst the NFL groups. Taking a look at tight end, I think it's pretty clear and obvious. Kyle Pitts is the number one tight end. I think this might be the widest gap amongst positional groups in terms of 1 and 2. Freiermuth is a good tight end, but he doesn't have the vertical explosiveness that Kyle Pitts has to offer. They've had a phenomenal season at the University of Florida. He runs good routes. He's a quick tight end, and he can beat you vertically. That's the big thing. And I think it's going to warrant a possible top 10 selection, if not a top 15. But I think some teams could really fall in love with Kyle Pitts. He's got the 6'6" frame. He moves really well for his size. He's 240 pounds, but you got to really like what he has to offer with the vertical explosiveness. And he adds another element to the offense, kind of like a Kelsey would do for you or a Kittle could do for you. He just offers so much in the pass game. It's hard not to take him with the top 15 pick, and I think he will be that selection. Taking a look now, we're going to actually go over center right now. And for me, my number one center is Creed Humphrey, what he has to offer in the pass game. And he's a smart center. He's a guy that understands pass protections, and I really like him. He's really quick with his hands. I think that's the big thing that stands out. You watch his film, and he's really quick to get his hand on a guy. And that's really important for a center, being able to snap the ball consistently, get his hand up and ready to block. I think Creed Humphrey has all the makings to be a really good center in this league. I hope that whoever drafts him sees him as a long-term center rather than moving him to guard. But I really like Creed Humphrey this year. taking a look at the guard position, we have the right guard from Ohio State is my number one, Wyatt Davis. He's the guy that can be very nasty in the run game. But the thing that's really impressive on film to me was going at that, I think it was the Michigan game, or excuse me, I don't remember which game it was, but he was able to get to that second level. That's the really important thing for a guard is, having the recognition to get to that second level, get past the linebackers. And he definitely has that in his arsenal. He knows when to essentially release into that next level to provoke a big run. And that's really important from a center or a guard standpoint, that he can get to that next level. And at Ohio State, he's done a phenomenal job in the pass and the run game. I really like Wyatt Davis's game, and I think he deserves a little more credit. Obviously, guards are not a hot commodity in the first round, but he definitely will be taken, I think, in the top 20. But he is my number one guard heading into the NFL draft. Now, taking a look at one of the most important positions on the field, we're seeing Penei Sewell, from Oregon. And Sewell is really good in the pass and run game. He can get really nasty in the run game. He's got exceptional power. He's a guy that as well can get to that second level, even at the tackle spot. He's not afraid to run over a guy and make the next block to spring a big run. And that's where his value is going to be as well. But he also has good footwork for being a tackle as well, that he has so much value in both the pass and the run game. Good footwork. He's nimble for his size, 6'6", 325. This is a big lineman we're talking about. And honestly, I think we have to start considering him as one of the top players in this class. And I think league-wide, that's kind of the consensus, right? He has so much value. Every team could use him essentially, but a really special player in Sewell here. Taking a look now, we are going to actually go into the interior defenders. Quite a few guys here, as you can see, that you're not exactly sure where they're going to be drafted. But Fele, for me, is my top interior defensive lineman, because he is a guy that can really play the run. He's explosive off of the snap. That's really important for an interior defensive lineman. He's explosive. He gets his hands on the offensive lineman before he can get his hands up. He's really good with his hands, essentially, and he's really good against the run. And he's a competitive pass rusher as well, can provide pressure. And I think that's really important for defensive tackle position, is being able to do those two things and do them consistently. And Fele has proven that. So now we're going to take a look here at edge defenders. Gregory Rousseau, Kwity Paye, and I think it's kind of close, but I like the upside of Gregory Rousseau more. He's a power rushing D end. He's the 6'6", 260 pounds. He's a freak athlete. And honestly, we know that this guy is going to be a good pass rusher at the next level. Would like to see a little more consistency against the run. But I think that this guy is definitely going to be a double-digit sack guy once he gets to the league. He's just so powerful, and you can't match his athleticism. Sometimes you got to take the freak athlete. We saw the Minnesota Vikings do that with Danielle Hunter, and some of the other pass rushers work out like that, where you got to get the freak athlete and try to mold him as you progress. But I think Rousseau is definitely a guy that'll be a top 10 selection, and to me, he is the best edge rusher in the class. So now that we're done with the edge defenders, we will actually take a look at the linebackers. And for me, it's Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons he's got the athleticism, obviously. He's a sideline to sideline linebacker. He has acceleration. He has straight line speed. But the thing that's really important for him is he has versatility. And I think this is extremely important for teams that run the 3-4, that he can be a guy where you can rush him off the edge. He used to be a defensive end, and he's also, obviously has the skill set to be a linebacker, but he has the ability to rush the passer, and that's where his value comes. If you want to play him in the middle of your defense, it's going to be really, really interesting to see where Micah Parsons lands, because he is a phenomenal talent. He's getting better in pass coverage, but wow, he has good instincts in order to find what hole is there on the defensive line and plug it up, because this guy can do it all. And it's really unfortunate that he had the opt-out this season, because he could have had a monster year for the Nittany Lions. And I really like him as a prospect. Once again, I see him as a for sure top 10 selection in this draft. Now we're going to take a look at the cornerback position. We have Caleb Farley, we have Patrick Surtain, and I think it's pretty close between these two guys, but I like the upside of Surtain a little more. And like you see on the stat there, hasn't allowed more than 50 yards in a single game this season, but he is a phenomenal talent. He has exactly what you want with the size, length, speed. He's got the long arms, he's got the 6'2" frame, and he's going to run pretty well at the combine. And he's definitely one of those man-to-man guys that you can really target at the top of your draft board. And I think Surtain is going to be a number one corner for a team. I really like his upside. Obviously, the height, weight, speed, length thing, it all points in the direction of him being a really good player. And you just have to watch the film. I think he is a phenomenal talent, but he is definitely my number one corner in this year's class. I think Farley's a really nice corner as well, but I think Surtain's going to take home the cake for the number one corner. And now finally, we're going to look at the safeties in this class. And there's a couple guys that you can consider in this area. I'm going to be honest. I think that my number one guy, because you have Holland from Oregon, and you also have Trayvon Merrick from TCU, who really flies around the field. He's really fun to watch. He's a willing tackler. He's good in coverage. And whoever gets him towards the back end of the first round or the early part of the second round is going to be getting a really nice player. He's solid all around. Like I said, he's that willing tackler. He's able to get guys out in space, but he also is very good in coverage, and he's an instinctful safety. So honestly, I really like his game. I'm kind of interested to see. I like his upside a little more than I do Holland's so far from what I've seen. I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season plays out, for one, and for two, how the combine goes, how these guys run, that could kind of impact what you would see. Obviously, you see what you see on film, but getting the combine is really important too, to just see what physically they have to offer. And I think Merrick's a phenomenal player at the safety position, and he is my number one guy. Hey, thanks everybody for watching. If you do have any questions or just comments in general, please let me know below. Also subscribe if you do enjoy the NFL draft content that we're providing, and also leave a like for us. We do appreciate your support. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and we hope to see you soon.